Hello and welcome to freedomthroughastrology.com. My name is Don. I am your astrologer and I'm feeling much better this week, as is Kit. And we're freedomthroughastrology.com, where we're giving you the keys to having a successful life. My name is Donald Patak. I'm your astrologer. There's my contact information. It's copyrighted and it's the standard YouTube copyright is what I'm using. Keys to this reading. I use sidereal astrology, which is also known as the visible sky. Tropical astrology fixed the signs to seasons. So when we come up with the equinox, for them it's Aries season. Invisible sky, we're in the age of Pisces. So it's the visible sky where the planets are in the constellations according to astronomy is more in line where I'm going to read them. Secondly, I use the natural sign size. Some astrologers and forms of astrology force every sign to be the same size. I use the natural sign size, which says Virgo is huge, Pisces is relatively huge, Leo is, of course, egotistically huge. But signs like Libra, Scorpio, Ophiuchus, Aries, small. And I use the astrological midpoints. The IAU boundaries were just randomly drawn. Wherever they felt like putting them, they put them. Athens Shementi came up with what he calls midpoints, looking at the zodiac belt, end of sign A, beginning of sign B. What's the halfway point with a little bit of geometry? Poof. So I use those. I find they work better. And like I said the sign of Fucus, which is the wounded healer. This was a constellation that was in the original zodiac, but taken out when they went to a 12-month calendar. They decided we don't need 13 signs. My evidence to support this claim comes from the book The Lost Zodiac. Don't know if you can see that, by Catherine Tennant, where she does say it was a sign in the original zodiac. So it's the wounded healer, snake symbolizing knowledge, the man holding the snake by the head and tail. Excuse me. So that's controlling your knowledge, of use of knowledge to do what? Bring healing to yourself, and then you can help others who have similar wounds heal. Excuse me. These are the weekly transits, which are universal lessons for everyone. So we're all learning these lessons together. So let's, love one another, support each other. We all need it. Interpretation uses what's called evolutionary astrology, which says the planets and the constellations are teachers. You are not, the only thing you are fated is that we're going to be fated to where the planets are in the sky. The planets and constellations are teachers. They're giving us information. You get to decide how you want to work with that information and what you want to do. So you have freedom of choice. That is an essential lesson in evolutionary astrology. Cats are all quiet today, which is nice. Pull this down. Transit report. We're reading the transits from March 4th through March 10th. The moon starts the week in Ophiuchus, and it's actually very steady this week. It doesn't get into Pisces until Sunday, so it's steady in Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. Very stable this week, which is good, given what else is happening. The long transit of Chiron in the North Node ends, so healing of destiny. However, we are continuing with Chiron facing the South Node, and I'll talk about that, which is evaluating how you hold yourself back and healing from that. 3 sign changes this week, which, excuse me, which adds to the mix. The Sun and Mercury both move into Pisces, and Venus steps into Aquarius. So I will be sharing about that and giving you more information. So it's moving more into spirituality and individuality. And very active this week, both Mercury learning and Mars learning courage and assertiveness. Mercury is also about communication. So Mercury learning and communication, speaking and listening. And Mars, courage and assertiveness. So very important there. And when we look at the overview of the week, these are just the transits. And as you can see, they actually are fairly steady. We do have that cluster Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with Mars, which is nice. And then the second cluster in the weekend with Uranus, actually. So I could have thrown Uranus in with the mix and probably should have. But if Uranus was with individuality and you being authentic to yourself. So as you can see, a very steady week, and we do have those sign changes, which does add to the mix. So let us begin. We begin with My phone open here because I have a rugby game on my tablet that I've got on pause. All right. We have Chiron, the asteroid of healing, is conjunct or joined with the North Node in Pisces. North Node is, I say it's a habit to learn. It's also a destiny to mark. So it's learning to heal yourself. And in Pisces, it's about releasing wounds and releasing the past. So it is leaving this week, either the 6th or the 7th. But this has been about 2 weeks long that this has been working. So at least, no, about 3. So, but this is healing your destiny, healing habits, and releasing the wounds so that you can move on in your life. Let's see what we have. Be open to opportunities to heal your personal destiny. Work with opportunities that come your way. Possible to receive help from others and be open to receiving help from others. Falling into the shadow. Each transit has a good outcome, and well, you can choose something else. Refusing to heal leads to deeper wounding and seeking ways to escape the pain or to numb yourself to the pain. So this can be a point of great healing leading you into the future, or this can be a deeper wounding leading you down to a darker, more foreboding future. Your choice. At the same time, Chiron and the North Node are in opposition to the South Node. Hold on a second. So Chiron in healing and the ability to release wounds is looking at reflection. In this case, I'm using as looking at South Node, which is a habit you release in Virgo, perfection. So you're looking at and healing yourself from how you've used perfectionism to hold yourself back from achievement. Sometimes I like to say an opposition is a balance, and in this case, it can be as well. Healing and releasing those perfectionists and knowing and learning the lesson of what's good enough and working with good enough. So there's that. Shadow is hanging on to those wounds, holding yourself to even higher standards and wounding yourself even more deeply and attempting to numb yourself to those wounds. So that's the dark side of that. And again, by healing yourself of these wounds, this helps you because the South Node and the North Node are almost always in opposition. By releasing it, it helps you move into the future and to grow and heal. And also on Sunday afternoon, the moon entered Ophiuchus. The moon is your soul. And also in my book on transits, when I was reading it, mentioned that this is also where you is a focus also on healing and healing of the soul. So this is very strong healing. And like I said, Ophiuchus, the symbol of Ophiuchus is a man holding a snake by the head and the tail. And that means, and the snake symbolizes knowledge. This is controlling knowledge. So this is receiving information that helps you to heal your soul. And ideally, you're learning to heal your soul. So take the time to heal. Be open to knowledge and information that can lead in this healing. Also, be open to people who can help you heal. Healing face it. You get really hurt, you go to a doctor. You got a toothache, you go to a dentist. Being open to other people to help you heal can be very important. The shadow of this is reopening the wounds of the past and refusing to heal can lead to problems in the future. Also, using knowledge to wound or hurt others is the shadow. So if you know how to hurt someone with work, if you know how to hurt someone, and this is emotionally hurt someone especially, not a good choice, personally, in my opinion. Okay, now we begin Monday and a lot of Mercury transits. So we have Mercury in Aquarius, learning to be authentic, and a sextile, which is an excitement or an interest, or actually in this case, more redefining in this case. Mercury is closing in or approaching Uranus, so this is a more redefinition. So you're redefining yourself and you're seeing who you really are and learning who you really are. And Uranus in Aries is having the courage to be your authentic self and be your real self. So you're learning information about who you are and having the courage to be yourself. And with that sextile is an excitement. So this is exciting to be learning about your own truth. And my notes here say that your truth is yours and be prepared to learn how to express it. Look to independent and groundbreaking thinkers to see how they did it and how you can do it. You don't have to copy them word for word, but look at the big lessons and look at the ways that they did it. And then that can help you learn to express yourself and express yourself authentically. Learn who you are and express yourself authentically. The shadow of this is just being mindlessly contrary, or the other shadow is of Uranus and Aquarius is falling into conformity, becoming cookie cutter. I want to do this so I fit in. So it's either the mindless rebel with without a cause or a clue, or it's Mr. Smith, one of them from The Matrix. Yeah, I remember watching that. That was actually a good movie. So be careful of mindlessly contrary blind obedience. Also, be careful of seeking shock value off over authenticity. Just because I can get a reaction doesn't mean it's right. True authenticity doesn't leave people saying, "Oh my God, can you believe what they did?" Or if somebody is offended by that, you know what I'm talking about. The kid who comes in Monday looking like, yeah, whatever, and then Tuesday he's got his hair in a mohawk and it's all spiked out and he's got all these piercings. It's like, why did you do that? That's the shadow. That's my opinion. There are people that actually is their authentic self. But if you're doing something to get a reaction, you're on the wrong path. If you're doing it to fit in, I'll also forget it. And I have a side note here. It says sometimes truth is found on its own. Sometimes, so just a side note there. I don't know why I put that in there. It'll come to me. Also on Monday afternoon, the moon enters Sagittarius. Emotionally, you need some new ideas, some fresh inspiration. And I think that Mercury and sextile to Uranus will help you with this. But seeking fresh ideas and experiences for your life, this is a time to go out exploring a little bit and find something that excites you and interests you, and be open to new opportunities to explore the world around you. Who knows? I was a history club advisor, and I taught kids local history and helped them to explore local history. They were surprised about all the little museums that are hidden here in Western New York, and they were amazed at it, and it was amazing. But look at the opportunities around you and be open to those opportunities as they come up. And sometimes it's bigger, and you got to get out and travel. Fine, do it. But the shadow is maintaining the status quo through self-righteous attitude keeps you unhappy and stuck in the past. So adopting an attitude of self-righteousness or not wanting to do anything at all will lead you to problems. On Tuesday, Mars, one of its many. This is a massive Mars sandwich here. Mars is playing with three different aspects here. We have Mars in Capricorn in a trine, which is a 120-degree angle to the South Node in Virgo. And Mars in Capricorn is doing the work to be courageous and assertive. South Node in Virgo is showing you how you use perfectionism to hold yourself back. So Mars here is having the courage. And in trine, this is an energy, an opportunity. And it can be an easy energy to work with as well. You find that the things that you need to help you move forward, come forward, and you find them easy to work with. So this is having the courage to leave behind perfectionist attitudes. Okay? So learn to become more capable by facing the past, stand in your strength and experiences. Shadows falling into fear or anger as a defensive tactic results in a loss of perspective of how far you've actually come on your journey. So any gains that you made, you can lose. And it can also have you feeling like you're not good enough. So, you are capable of, know that you're capable of releasing those habits that have held you back. Know that you're capable of releasing them. I think that's the strong lesson here. And at the same time, Mars is in a sextile or a 60-degree angle to Chiron in Pisces. It is also in a sextile to the North Node. So I'm going to bundle these together because the transits are that similar. Mars, again, courage, assertiveness. Chiron is healing. So it's the courage to heal. And the North Node is a destiny or your future. So it's healing your ability to work into your future. Mars in Capricorn having the courage to do the work, to do the healing so that your future so, you know, there's the old song out of the 1980s. I remember it. The future's so bright, I got to wear shades. Okay, my glasses tint on their own. But that is incredibly powerful transit here. So have the strength to work on healing, knowing by doing so and working through the process, the wounds of the past are released. And that similar notes for the North Node do the work of learning to release what needs to be let go so you can release these wounds and step into a bigger, better, brighter future. And Pisces, you know, is about transcending. So it's rising above what held you back as well. The shadow is falling into fear and looking for ways to numb yourself and numb the pain. It can also fall into procrastination. That's the North Node. And Chiron is wounding. So the fear of this is falling into fear, falling into anger, cowardice, and tearing open those wounds and then trying to find a way to numb yourself to them. So falling into fear can lead to a deeper wounding of yourself and then numbing the pain to escape. So there's my notes on that. Yeah. So this is a great opportunity here to leave behind a past that held you back and embrace and transcend it and embrace the future. And that's the middle of the week. So look for those opportunities. Also on Tuesday, our first sign change for the week, Mercury, the planet of learning and communication. So, listening, speaking, writing, however you happen to communicate, that planet is entering Pisces. Live and let go, sort of. But my notes here say be open to higher learning. Pisces is known for being a little bit more spiritual sign. So be open to spirituality, however you practice it. I'm not going to define it for you. Everyone has their own spiritual practices, what they feel comfortable doing. Be open to that. This is going to be an opportunity for you to learn about them and delve more deeply into them. So let's see, be open to your higher senses, even the sixth sense. Say that one 5 times fast as a tongue twister. Know that there's a world beyond the physical and that you can learn about it and experience it and be open to coincidences that open those doors where those things happen. I've heard it said many times from spiritual teachers, you are a spirit having a physical experience. So be open to that idea and that there is a spiritual realm and that you can, even though we're living in this physical body, have the Mercury represents the mind. You can have interactions with that spiritual realm. The shadow of this is be careful of becoming a space cadet or getting lost or trying to numb yourself to these experiences. In Mercury, the shadow of Mercury is being either a know-it-all or someone who doesn't want to learn it all. And using talking or not listening and shutting down as a defensive tactic. So numbing yourself to the experiences and trying to escape. That's the shadow. Now, by the way, Mercury is going to be making a lot of transits through when it hits Pisces. Wednesday. This just happened. I forgot to put it into a circle and I put the square and then I thought, that's Capricorn. It's perfect. The moon enters Capricorn. Capricorn is one of my GSD signs. Gets stuff done. Very structured, very logical. It's been known for that. It's a bit of a stereotype, but it kind of works. Capricorn likes getting things done and doing things in a logical way, so to speak. And the moon is your soul, your emotional self. It's also how you heal. But you're open emotionally for a challenge here. And accept a challenge that's placed before you, especially if it's worthy of you. Think of the knight going on the quest. I accept your quest. I will go find the holy grail of coffee or tea or something. I know this is tea. This is the knights of the round table going off the quest for the holy grail. They've coming out with that re-releasing Monty Python. And they're making tangent. But the moon in Pisces during this time, you're up emotionally for a challenge and accepting that challenge. Be open to it, accept it if it's worthy of you. Know that success comes from self-discipline and commitment. So being responsible, emotionally responsible at this time will serve you well. Shadow, trying to control others or outcomes is a mistake that will leave you lonely and uptight about your future. So both Virgo and Capricorn can be control freaks. Capricorn can be a control freak as in step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And that can actually be very limiting. Okay. And on Thursday, we have our first conjunction, Mercury conjunct Neptune in Pisces. And, oh gosh, Neptune. And I've heard Stephen Forrest say this numerous times. When you have something conjuncting Neptune, don't just do something, sit there. It's kind of a joke, but Neptune's about being receptive and being still. When a planet is an aspect with Neptune, especially the conjunction, it's a time to sit still and be open and listen and be receptive. Mercury is about, like I said, about learning and communication. I'm going to focus on listening or taking in information. So the importance here is taking in information, taking it in on spiritual learning, however it comes to you. So it says, open the mind, notes say, open the mind to the idea there's more than just the physical world. Be open to synchronicities and things that just happen. Learn lessons from mystics. It can be an honor. It can be an opportunity to learn about your own spirituality. So this conjunction is really about maybe a synchronicity that teaches you something about your own spirituality, or about how to listen to and partner with spirit. Be careful of not trusting your own sixth sense, your own gut. If you don't like the phrase sixth sense, gut instincts is another way of saying it. You know, sometimes we just know that we know something in our guts. The guts have been called the second brain. Sometimes you just know, if you turn that off and not pay attention to it, that's the shadow. Also become careful of becoming totally lost in your, spiritually minded. The old cliche of being so heavenly minded you're of no earthly good. That can happen here as well. So be careful about that. This is a quick transit, just the 7th and the 8th. And on Friday, Mars in Capricorn is in a square to Uranus in Aries. Mars is, again, courage and assertiveness. Uranus is your authenticity, so this is the courage to be your authentic self. Capricorn and Mars Capricorn doing the work of being your authentic self, and so that's very important here. My notes say courage to be real. And squares are challenges. But when you're looking at squares and everybody's like, oh my gosh, squares, and it's like, oh, this is gonna be so difficult. Yeah, squares are hard. Look at a bodybuilder. They didn't get those muscles by continually picking up 2.5 pounds weight. When the weights got too light for them, they went to the next highest weight level, and that's how you build muscle, and that's how you build strength. If square is a 90-degree angle, and I say this as an example, strongest structure in the world that we know of, pyramids. If you go to the pyramids of Egypt and you take a look at them, they look like giant triangles, but when you get up close, they're built on squares, and that tension has kept them strong and standing through earthquakes. So very strong. So here we go. Learn to stand up for yourself and face the challenge of standing up for yourself in your individuality. Break free from the herd mentality that is holding you down and holding you back. Know that this is going to take effort. This can be a redefinition, maybe you relearning something about yourself as well. Shadow, watch out and be careful for impulsive or foolish behaviors, also just being mindlessly contrary, disaster. Also be careful falling into fear and conformity. All this can lead to doing any of those things. The shadow of Capricorn is loneliness and time serving and being isolated. So if you're not learning to be your authentic self, you're learning to be alone in a crowd. That's the shadow of this. And I had this almost all done. And I realized I didn't put this in. It was a blank slide. I had to see what it was. Sun in Aquarius in sextile to Uranus in Aries. So this is like Uranus is very active in this. In this. I don't know why I didn't put that on the main page. I should have. But Uranus is very active. Individuality is very important. And this is a focus on your individuality. This is one of the last transits for the sun in Aquarius. And sun is a spotlight. Uranus is your individuality. So this is a spotlight on your individuality and learning to focus on your heart and follow your heart. Take time to focus on yourself and what is authentic to you. Yeah, unusual things can happen. Be open to them. Excuse me there. And sextile is an excitement, is a revitalization. You know, you learn something new that, oh yeah, that's me. And it just gives you that extra spark of energy. Really good. Falling in the shadow leaves you in conflict with your authentic self. And the shadow of the sun, first, you can be highly egotistical and just standing out there and, you know, we all know those people who look at me, look at how loud and tacky I'm dressed, or they do things for shock value. Something that came to me in my studies and thinking about things, what have you, in conversations with my cats who always look at me like I'm strange. Why is he talking to us? Because they're here. The shadow, another shadow of the sun, a star that refuses to shine, is a star that's collapsed in on itself, is known as a black hole. So the black hole, falling into conformity, not wanting to shine, not wanting to be seen, hiding your authentic self. That is also being in conflict with yourself. You can be a rebel without a cause or a clue, being very showy or collapsing into yourself and falling into the expectations of others, falling under their control and under their rule. And that is a disaster. And this goes over 3 days. So the spotlight is on who you are authentically, and how are you going to express that? Also, on Friday, Venus enters Aquarius. Venus, relationships, being receptive and receiving help from others. So maybe receiving help from others to learn who you are, to be authentic in your relationships. Aquarius is about authenticity and individuality. So this whole transit is going to be you learning about your authentic self and who you are in relationships. And Venus also addresses creativity and the arts and music and things of that nature. So also authentic creativity. You know, how are you doing that? Let's see. So authentic relationships. I should throw in creativity too in there. But learn how to be real in your relationships and watch them come to life. Instead of things being stale, dull, dry, or boring, and everybody playing a pre-described role, learning to be your real self and let other people be their real self can bring real life to your relationships. Yeah, go for it. Be open to new ideas for creativity as well, and the ability to express yourself freely. The shadow, falling into predictability or eccentricity, is missing the mark by a mile or more. Full of alliteration on this one. But yeah, there we go. And so Venus is going to be transiting Aquarius. So this is learning to be authentic in your relationships and creativity. On that same time, also, the moon steps into Aquarius. You can see the moon is conjunct. So this is also, moon can be a moment of healing and emotional healing. Cool. So emotionally, you want to heal yourself, free yourself from the approval of others, seek a new path, something different, possibly independent. And just following crowd and following orders or acting up and out is a sign of self-betrayal. So going along with the crowd, self-betrayal. Acting up and acting out just to get a reaction, betrayal. The moon here is learning how to be authentic, the soul is learning how to be authentic and healing of that. On Saturday, our next sign change, the sun enters Pisces. So I tell people the sun is yourself, it's your ego, and you came here to heal your ego, not get rid of it, but to heal it. So part of the journey of your life, look to see what your sun sign is, and you came here to learn to have that as a health itself, to express that in a healthy manner. So the sun is about that, and Pisces is about transcendence, being able to see things from a different perspective. Not the joke is being able to separate the person who you really are from the personality that you put out, and see when you're doing that and understanding it. There's a great story about that. I'll put it on my blog. But expect during this season, expect life to become more fluid. Learn to go with the flow. That's going to be important here. Be open to spiritual experiences and synchronicities. That's buzzword for this season. Yeah, well, we're in the age of Pisces right now, and the sun's going to be in Pisces. Cool. During this time, the shadow is falling into confusion and feeling lost or feeling like a space cadet. And again, that so spiritually minded that you're of no earthly good comes up here big time. Also, just collapsing in on yourself and not wanting to deal with it is another form of the shadow. Rejecting the mystical is a missed opportunity. So there is an opportunity for you to learn deeply about who you are and like I said earlier in this podcast, your spirit having a physical experience, learning more about how to express that and being able to discern like, who am I really. I think this a Pisces season for the sun is learning real discernment about who you really are, and being able to say, this is really me and this is my personality. And on Sunday, Mercury again. Mercury in Pisces is in a sextile or an excitement to Pluto in Capricorn. Mercury learning, Pluto transformation. Excited about learning about transformation and being excited about it. And we said Mercury in Pisces is about learning spirituality and using that to do the work of transforming yourself. Very powerful. The sextile is an excitement. The notes here also say speaking from the depths and speaking from your own deep truths. And these are the truths that resonate with you. Learn to speak or communicate differently, communicating your deep truths. Hidden truths can arise. Be open and to learning from them and learning to be honest as well. Be advised, and this is just a little note from my notes when I was reading up on this. There's the old cliche, the truth can set you free. At first, it might make you a little miserable. So, it's learning about these uncomfortable truths, but being able to work with them and through that transcend. Missing the point or maintaining the lies of the past or hiding from the truth is missing the path. So if you're trying to deceive, self-deceive to avoid the truth, you're missing it. Also be careful of using words as weapons. And this is very possible to wound with words here, especially with Mercury being about communication, and Pluto can be deeply wounding. Very possible to wound deeply with words. And this is another quick transit. This starts on Sunday and ends Monday. So next week, Monday, be very careful with your words. Also on Sunday, we have the moon in Pisces and the new moon in Pisces. I want to cover them separately because the new moon Pisces is going to happen on Sunday, but the moon is going to be in Pisces for several days. Pisces is either the second or third largest sign in the sky. So I do want to cover it individually. During this time, like the moon, your soul, it's also how you heal emotionally, is seeking a fresh vision through spiritual practices. So emotionally, it's being open to spiritual influences. Be open to new ways of experiencing the world. So, getting in an emotional contact, an emotional touch with the world. Completely withdrawing and trying to escape during this time and numb yourself is a mistake. Trying to hide from these experiences. learn to go with them and work with them. And let's talk a little bit about the new moon in Pisces, because the new moon is the sun in a conjunction to the moon. So the sun is a focus, it's a spotlight kind of on the moon. We don't get to really see the moon here, but and in Pisces, it's learning about transcendence. So this is a spotlight on the spirit or a spotlight on the soul. Do take time to get in touch with your spiritual roots and go deep within. So next week, Sunday, is a time for you to explore your own spirituality, for the ego literally to take the day off, take a Sabbath rest. Do watch some rugby if you get a chance on U.S. Major League Rugby. It's good. But do take time for spiritual practices. Get in touch with your soul. Finding quiet time to be yourself is good, and being alone can be helpful because being with people can be distracting. Pisces can be a little bit more of a solitary sign. So if you are going to be around people, not a crowd, just a few people. The shadow is going through the motions, is an exercise in futility or drowning yourself in nothingness. Just losing yourself and becoming nothing and nobody is also the shadow. And so that's our week. And if you like this, you can follow me on social media. If you go to Freedom Through Astrology, if you go to my website, Freedom Through Astrology, you will find me on the bottom. There's a link for Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I also belong to the Digital Soul Space, which is a troll-free spiritual zone that covers astrology and many, many, many other different modalities. There's a free version and there's a paid version. Free version gives you limited access. Paid version gives you full access. And people do ask me, why do I want to use this when all these are free? These you pay for with your data, and they make millions of dollars, billions of dollars off of your data. And unless you hit certain thresholds, you don't get anything. Digital Soul Space is privacy focused, and the moderators, Michael, Kimber, and Anne-Marie. I want to make sure I'm getting her name right. I'm almost sure it is Anne-Marie. My bad. Yeah, it is Anne-Marie. I'm almost sure, but she posted today. But yep, Anne-Marie. Do a wonderful job. And in the time I've been on there, I've encountered exactly 0 trolls. So it's a very great place to hang out. Site reminder. I do have my website, which I'm going to show you, and expect changes on the website this week. There's going to be things are going to be moved around, new things added, rearrangement, making it more user-friendly and more informative, more practical. Been working on this for a while. New offerings will be added this week as well. I have a new reading that I'm doing called the, just escaped my mind, life cycle reading, which we look at the outer planets and comparing them to your natal chart. And that shows where you are in your life's journey and it can point out important lessons and show you challenges and things you're facing. And then I'm also building packages. Why buy single things here and there where if they're bundled together, they work better for you. And let me show you the current site. Here we go. A few times. So if you go to freedomthroughastrology.com, you'll see it as it is, my picture. It's all going to be rearranged ideally by the end of the week. So if you click on subscribe, it does take you to this page where you can sign up for my newsletter. Once a week, I give you a summary of the major astrological events, a little astrological insight, exclusive subscriber-only discounts and offers. And if I'm doing any live appearances and events where I will be, just right in here, click your email. Hey, I want a reading. I want to schedule with you live one-to-one. Click on scheduling. And you can book an appointment. I've got to fix that up. But I do birth charts, past life or karmic readings. Transit readings are the predictive reading. This is going to disappear and become the life cycle reading. Consultations, got to fix those up a little bit, but they're right there. You can ask me to take a transit and interpret for your one transit and ask me to interpret for your chart only, and I will do that for you. Hey, we can't get our schedules to align. If you click on services, it takes you to recorded readings. And anything I do live one-to-one, I do recorded. Like I say, next week, this will be rearranged, so it's much better. But if I'm doing it live one-to-one, it's I offer it as a recording. One thing I do offer as a recording only is called a quick 6 reading. How would my chart be different under true sidereal astrology? 6 quick points. I don't go over any aspects. It's just what the points and where they are. But there you go. And I also do have, if you click on blog, I do take transits deeper. I will pick a transit or two a day if I get the chance. And I dig it, and I do dig it to it deeper. And I give you more information and more ideas on how to work with it. Go back to PowerPoint, slideshow, current slide. So thank you very much. Like, follow, and share. I do appreciate everybody and the comments and the advice that people have sent me to help make this better for them. I want to thank everybody who wished me well as I was getting over whatever. It was a reaction to a food additive, which is giving me the headaches. We figured out what the additive was, got it out of my house. I've been without it for a week. I'm feeling incredibly better. And people who are wishing Kit well, because I have a cat who got very, very ill. I swear if we didn't get her to the doctor, I would have lost her. She responded incredibly well to the medication, and she is back to being her old self, which is great. Except when I go to bed, if I don't let her in my room and crawl up on my bed, she gets really moody. Which is fine. I'd rather have a moody live cat than the alternative. So thank you very much. Have yourself a great week. Like, follow, share. Appreciate everybody's help and well wishes. Have yourself a great week, everyone. Bye. Peace.